Fusters, fall is here. Right now, we're in the spookiest month of all. But do you know what I find the most scary? It's the thought of showing up to all these friends and family meals over the next couple of months empty-handed. Why not take the pressure off and look like an expert in the process? Join the Community Wine and Spirits monthly wine club, the Mutual Satisfaction Society. You'll receive 3 carefully selected bottles every month, complete with tasting notes and detailed information on each wine. All for $90. Join in the next 24 hours and get 20% off your first shipment. Want fancier wine? They got you. Join the Mutual Satisfaction Society Plus for extra satisfaction. $150 will get you 3 very special bottles. Let them take the trouble out of selecting great wines that you will love. Your first shipment is 20% off just for listening to View the Right Thing. Join the community today at www.communitywineandspirits.com or DM them at CommunityWS.
Paranormal investigators and recently unemployed university researchers build their unique business for capturing spirits of the undead. One of their clients leads them on a trail that leads to an ancient evil that is gathering its spooky, spectral, spiritual forces to soon be unleashed upon the world. Wes and Alexis warm up their proton packs to review this lightning in a bottle 1984 horror comedy classic, Ghostbusters, on View the Right Thing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of View the Right Thing. I'm Wes.
I'm Alexis.
Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Wes.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm a little tired, but yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you, I was listening to an older episode, and I was like, we have fun on this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for what we're doing because we laugh a lot and
we do.
It's fun. So
yay.
How are things in your world?
Oh, things are really ramping up.
How are play rehearsals?
They'll start sometime this week.
Okay.
But everything is cast.
Yeah.
And now we have a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at our cameras right now and going, we gotta upgrade your camera. It's pretty rough right there. Apologies for anyone that's watching the video. We have to upgrade her. She is not a faceless blob.
No.
She's not a pixelated mess in real life. There's hardly any pixelation at all in real life.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, have you seen any trailers or anything lately?
Shoot. Jeff put on one that I was immediately uninterested in, and so I've blocked it from my memory.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's great.
I saw a movie.
Oh, you did?
And so, of course, I saw trailers.
Yeah.
I feel like the trailers I saw, though, were all trailers I'd seen. You know, it's like the Speak No Evil one that we've seen multiple times, and
right.
The Captain America one. I'm sure I saw some other stuff. I love trailers. I think I used to love them more, and the more I go see movies in the theater, the less I like trailers.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of like,
they eat into the movie time.
I know. Well, there's just so many of them. I went to a movie. I think when we went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, are these trailers ever going to end? There was like 40 minutes of trailers.
Yeah.
It's just getting longer and longer. It used to be, you get 15 minutes, and now it's 30
right.
minutes, and
now it's hard to know, like, oh, okay, so the movie starts at this time. Is it actually going to get out in however long the movie says it is? No.
AMC says to add about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes extra on top of the runtime. For a while, theaters were testing, when they list the runtime with the trailers.
That'd be great.
But the problem is that they don't know ahead of time necessarily how long the trailers are going to be and how many trailers, and like if there's trailers attached to the film. So that created, I think, some problems. And then when movies come out, they have to pull the trailers off, or they're supposed to. They're not supposed to have trailers for movies that are already out.
Okay.
And there's some I don't know if it's not a law, but like some sort of rule that you can't do that. You also aren't supposed to cross promote with your own theater. So I worked at an AMC when I was much younger, and I brought that up. I was like, why don't we play trailers for movies that are, because they had two AMCs, one in the mall and one across the street. And I said, well, why don't we play trailers for the movies that are across the street? And they're like, you're not allowed to cross promote. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trailers are just so long.
Yeah. So I don't really remember the trailers very well.
Oh.
But I do remember the movie I saw.
What'd you see?
I saw Alien Romulus.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so by the time this episode comes out, it will have been old. It's probably on streaming now.
Right.
Everything is just streaming after 3 weeks. So,
yeah.
But it's fantastic. It's not as scary as you think it's going to be.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of plot. It moves quickly. I mean, it's not like it drags because of plot or anything, but
yeah,
it's it's definitely I would say it's probably more icky than scary. Like, I guess the concept is scary, but it's not like a bunch of jump scares and stuff. There are some, but
okay.
It's really good. It's a really good movie. And the more I've thought about it, the more I like it. It's one of those movies where they actually put a lot of thought into subtext, and I really enjoyed the movie.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Have you seen any of the Alien films?
I've seen the first one.
Okay. So this takes place right after the first one.
Oh.
Yeah. In between Alien and Aliens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So recommend it. Maybe you're going to have to see it.
I might need to see it.
I bet Jeff would like it.
Probably.
And so you could, see it for him.
Oh, of course.
I bet you would enjoy it. It's in the tradition of Alien, strong female characters. One strong female character. And I guess there's several, but it's hard to say when, I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm not going to say too much, but visuals were great, directed really, really well. It's got a lot of that nostalgia, like there's some similar shots to some of the original films from
cool.
Alien and Aliens, but they're shot at like more interesting angles and with newer cameras and stuff, so it's prettier than. So I was thinking about that when I was watching the movie. I was like, in a lot of ways, I enjoy watching this more than the old ones, because no disrespect to the old ones, because these are just prettier to look at, because new technology and new ideas and angles and things. So
yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie. Oh, and there's a guy in it. Let me look up his name, because I didn't recognize him. Maybe he's been in stuff I've seen. I don't know. But there was a guy in it that I thought was excellent.
Really?
As an actor. Yeah. Just incredible performance. His name is David Johnson. And apparently, I think he's in a bunch of British stuff that I've not seen. So, Murder is Easy, Prey, Rye Lane, Industry, Deep State, Gen Y. Yeah, a bunch of stuff I've never even heard of. So, but he was really, really fucking good in it.
Awesome.
And he shows a lot of range. Highly, highly recommend watching his performance.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I think you're slowly gonna be open to more and more horror, and you're gonna start learning you can tolerate more than you realize.
Maybe.
I mean, The Conjuring.
Yeah, that did not affect me at all.
Yeah, you were surprised.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe I have changed.
You've changed.
I'm so different now.
Yeah. All right, I don't have much. Oh, I should probably do the spiel. So, if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, welcome to View the Right Thing. We appreciate having you here. We this thing is sort of supposed to be like a book club, but for movies. So, at the end of every episode, we'll draw movies, and then you have a week to watch the movie or movies. And then we come back and we talk about it. We keep it pretty unfiltered, unedited.
Yeah.
So that way it's just two friends talking about movies. It's a good time. we appreciate you being here. If you could give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, or whatever on your a little review on your preferred podcast platform, we'd appreciate it. It helps.
Yes, please.
And then probably the most exciting thing that I like is Patreon. I'm really a big fan of the Patreon. We do a weekly newsletter where we talk about what's coming up, and we tell you about how much we love you. And there's several tiers. You could definitely do the free tier. We appreciate all of the support. Free, just join the free tier. It's great. If you decide you want to throw some money to support us, then we have some paid tiers that give you some benefits. One of them is that you get the video podcast, and you can see Alexis and all her, 320p glory. That's exclusive to Patreon. We do occasional episodes that do get uploaded for everybody on YouTube, but generally speaking, most of the episodes, it's exclusive to Patreon tier members, I guess I should say. We have the shout out section, the shout out crew, which we'll probably do a new shout out in an episode or two. Ooh. So, and what else we have? I don't know. We have. There's more stuff. Oh, you can watch. There's a tier where you can watch a movie once a month with us, and you get to vote on what the movie is. We do a little poll, so that's pretty exciting. That's. By the time you're hearing this, there'll be merchandise. So if you want a T-shirt, there's some cool T-shirts that you could get. We'll put a link for the merchandise in the description of the podcast episode, so that way you can buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alexis has a shirt that's a quote that she said in one of our episodes. Not that shirt you're wearing. She's wearing a pizza. She's like, yeah, this shirt. No, one of the shirts, part of our merchandise. I'm not gonna spoil it. You have to go on and look. So I actually have another idea for a cool shirt, a cool Alexis shirt. So
sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all I've got. The spiel wise, that's all I have for us. I'm sorry. I wish I had more.
No, that's a lot.
I wish I
could
spiel more at you. Follow us on stuff.
Yeah.
TikTok,
Instagram.
Those are the two preferred. Other than Patreon.
Right.
Those are the two preferred. We're on X. We're not on Threads. Should we be on Threads?
Maybe.
I don't want to do it. Can you do it? Can you do Threads?
I'll work on that.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook, so Instagram is the closest I get to Facebook these days, and Threads I think is a Facebook thing, isn't it? So.
Well, it's connected to Instagram as well. I'll work on that.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to talk about this movie?
Yeah.
What movie do we... Oh, yeah. What movie did we watch?
We watched Ghostbusters.
Oh, so scary.
The 1984 classic.
Yeah. Were you scared during it?
No.
How many times had you seen this film?
A lot.
Yeah, I couldn't count how many times I've seen
been so many. I've seen it so many times. However, I hadn't seen it in like 8 or 9 years, and there's a lot of this movie I didn't remember.
Oh, that's great.
Which was so bizarre.
Yeah.
You'd think a movie like this would really get stuck in that brain hole.
Yeah, I mean, for me it is, but
yeah,
it's I maybe have seen it, I don't know, 100 times it feels like. So what's this movie about?
This movie, here we go. 3 parapsychologists forced out of their university funding set up a shop as a unique ghost removal service in New York City, attracting frightened yet skeptical customers.
Yeah.
If I were a customer of theirs, I would be frightened.
Yeah, I mean, if you're calling people, look, any type of exterminator, you got like rodents, or you're probably like, oh.
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Blah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So this movie is included on the American Film Institute's top 100 funniest American movies. It was nominated for 2 Oscars.
Wow.
Best visual effects and best song.
Mm.
And
This was 1984, so those are pretty awesome visual effects for 1984.
Yeah, and they were still they were doing some cool, like double exposure type stuff. They were doing, using matte paintings, puppetry, and robotics and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm a fan. The original, so Dan Aykroyd's the one who wrote the original draft for this, and then it was Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis came in, and they spent like weeks in like Martha's Vineyard or something, and just writing and rewriting. But the original story, the movie took place in the future, and it started like right off the bat with like the Ecto-1 flying out of the firehouse.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, this would be cooler to learn how they become Ghostbusters, and that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they changed it.
Cool.
And they thought, if we were to do this futuristic thing, this is like a $300 million movie, in 1984, that would have been, insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's insane now still, but.
Wait, it was a 300
No,
million?
it would have been if they'd done a futuristic version.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
flying cars.
Yeah.
You got to make flying cars, and that's expensive. So, and Dan Aykroyd, his father was a paranormal expert in real life, and so Dan Aykroyd is also he has all these books, and so all of the literature and stuff in this are sort of either actual pieces of paranormal literature or based on real things.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so now you know. Now, if you ever meet Dan Aykroyd, you can talk ghosts with him,
Oh my gosh.
and not in just a movie making way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's talk about ghosts, and I don't mean Ghostbusters. Let's talk about ghosts.
Yeah. You'd probably get really excited, I bet.
I bet.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think you can see more of that in his character in the newer movies, the reboot stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
His character is like a little more, like he owns an occult bookstore, and yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
What kind of notes you got?
What kind of notes? Right off the bat, walking through the stacks at the library really makes it feel like it's a horror story.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, this is spooky.
Yeah.
And they definitely set it up like this could be a really scary movie.
Yeah.
Everyone, I can just imagine people sitting in the movie theaters like, oh my God, what did we just step into? I thought this was supposed to be funny.
Yeah. Well, and the audiences in that, when they first saw the ghost, so in the initial scene you don't see the ghost, but when they actually show it, people didn't really know how to feel, and so people were both laughing and screaming at the same time.
What?
Yeah. And they shot that obviously at the New York Public Library, the famous lions, and except for the book stacks are actually, I think it's the Central Library in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful libraries I've been to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
I love libraries. It's really beautiful.
Have a strong feeling about the library.
I do.
All right. I'm into it.
My next note I have here is about Bill Murray and his mental test.
Yeah.
I go, why is he such a skis ball?
Yeah, that's true.
He's totally hitting on Jennifer. The other guy, granted, he gets a couple wrong, but then he's like guessing what her cards were.
Yeah.
Like the poor guy that he keeps shocking is actually doing a better job than Jennifer. But what is Dr. Venkman?
Yeah.
He just wants to get some tail.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is.
Throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, which they kind of allude to with the paint on the door when they first show that right at the beginning of that scene. There's paint on the door that says "Burn in Hell, Dr. Venkman," and I think it's like a jilted lover kind of a thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would also make sense.
Yeah. The girl, Jennifer, what is she in? She looked so familiar to me.
She does look really familiar.
She seemed well, while you look that up.
Yeah.
The role of Dr. Venkman was written for John Belushi, but he died before they could make this film. And there were a lot of people that I think auditioned or were considered. I think Tom Hanks maybe auditioned for it. and he would have been really young at the time. And I think they maybe offered it to Steve Guttenberg, who chose to do Police Academy instead.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think there's a whole list of people that they auditioned or considered before it went to Bill Murray.
Wow.
And Bill Murray, like, I think my understanding is most or all of his lines are all ad-libbed. Every scene in the movie has something that was improvised.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are like SCTV, Saturday Night Live, comedian experts, experts at improv.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
By the way, the woman who played Jennifer,
Mm-hmm.
her real name is Jennifer.
Oh, good for her.
And she in A Very Brady Christmas, she played Cindy.
She's Cindy, yeah.
I don't think she's the original Cindy.
No, but is she not? What's her name?
Jennifer Runyon?
Oh no, that isn't. What else is she in? She looked really. I do. As soon as you said Brady, I knew Cindy, but trying to figure out where else.
She was in some episodes of Murder, She Wrote.
Oh yeah, classic. Okay, maybe it was just I recognized her from the Brady sequel movie.
Yep.
Yeah, so we were talking about the librarian too. I wanted to touch back on that a little bit. So they go and investigate the library. Do you have notes about that?
Nope.
I guess I'm doing it out of order. And they ask if she's menstruating.
Yes,
and
I did write that.
Did you write that down? And the librarian's like, "What does that matter?" And he's like, "Back off! I'm a scientist."
Yes.
So there is a belief in parapsychology that there's some sort of correlation between menstruation and telekinetic powers, or latent telekinetic powers.
Oh.
So the idea is that if she's, maybe she's going through menopause, and in rare cases, they say that can cause psychotic breaks or blackouts. And so Peter is trying to figure out if there is an actual haunting in the library or if Alice is causing it with her own psychic abilities. So that's why he's asking the question. So what seems like kind of like a funny throwaway line that's like inappropriate, it's actually turns out he's being an actual parapsychologist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I did write asking if Alice is menstruating at her age. What a douche.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay, so there was actual scientific reasoning behind asking that.
Scientific. Yeah. Also, they ask if anybody has any mental illness in her family.
Yes.
And she mentioned she had an uncle who thought he was Saint Jerome.
Yes.
Saint Jerome is the patron saint of librarians. Which I think is like a little clever thing.
I didn't know. I didn't get the reference. And I was like, I've never heard of Jerome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cute. That's clever.
Yeah, I agree. All right. What's your next?
My next
is the
note.
end of the film.
No. When I didn't even write who said this, but someone said, "You are a poor scientist, Dr. Venkman." And I said, "Yeah, I'll say."
But see, it turns out he's actually not a poor scientist.
He's not a poor scientist. He just has questionable motives.
He's just a jerk.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Was this before Alien came out?
No, this is after.
It was after.
After Alien.
Oh, so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wonder if someone was like, oh, she does really great with seeing things that aren't really there.
Oh.
Like,
well, I mean, they're
acting off of
puppets.
Yeah.
But I mean, that in Alien, it's like a dude in a suit. It's like, yeah. And some puppetry and stuff. But,
yeah.
Sigourney Weaver primarily had only done serious films up to this point, and that's why she wanted to do this, because she was part of like a school of comedy in college. Like she like had comedy roots, and so she really wanted to be able to show that side of herself, and so that's one of the reasons she pushed for this role.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I I enjoyed how she played off of
Bill Murray.
no, her neighbor.
Oh, Lewis, the
Yes.
Rick Moranis. Yeah.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Because she, like, it's obvious that she was not interested,
Yeah.
but she was still kind,
It was very, yeah.
you know?
It's probably very relatable for a lot of women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I don't know.
In a way, he gets the girl.
He does.
I mean, they do it.
But, like, they're possessed.
They still do. Well, so in the reboot with Paul Rudd, we learned that the gatekeeper and the keymaster retain the memory of that. It's not like they're like, yeah, we did it. Oh, yeah, we did. So, yeah, they know that they did it. They have memory of it.
In Ghostbusters 2, did they?
Well, there's no keymaster and gatekeeper in Ghostbusters 2.
Isn't Rick Moranis?
He's in it, but they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
No.
It's just like...
It's something they just don't cover, but now we know that they retain their memory of being the dogs.
Weird.
Yeah. So in a weird way, he gets the girl.
Okay.
He gets the girl he's pining after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Also, because of the reboots, we know the name of the ghost in the logo. Not in the movie, but because of the reboot. So Paul Feig learned from Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis that, or Ivan Reitman, I mean, that the ghost in the logo is named Moogly.
Moogly.
As in Googly Moogly.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great Googly Moogly.
Great Googly Moogly.
Wow. Well, isn't that something?
Yeah. Oh, the librarian puppet, before we move off the library again. The ghost.
Yes.
So they initially had a scarier puppet. And that one's, I think, pretty gross.
Yes.
They had a scarier puppet. They decided not to use the scarier puppet. And so the scarier one shows up a year later in a different movie called Fright Night. So...
Definitely don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah, Fright Night. And they've remade Fright Night, actually.
Ah.
Yeah, with Anton Yelchin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm fucking if you want.
I don't know.
It's kind of vampire-y kind of movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, but I do like vampires.
Oh, yeah. It's very, like, seductive vampire thing.
All vampires are seductive.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, but I mean...
Sparkle in the sunlight.
They really lean into that, though.
Oh, okay.
In the movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Love it.
What you got? What's next?
I jump.
Okay. Well, tell me where you're at, and we'll see if I have something in between.
Lewis's party.
Oh, yeah. I got... So the firehouse. Let's talk about the firehouse.
Great.
So it's two different firehouses.
Oh.
In two different cities. Again, we're talking about New York and LA. So the exterior is in New York.
Yeah.
I think it's like Hook and Ladder number 8 or something in New York. You can go to it. They still have the sign. They used to, I think, take the sign in and only bring it out at holidays like at Halloween and stuff. And I think it's out all the time now.
The Ghostbusters sign?
Yeah. The interior is an LA firehouse.
Cool.
And it's been used in a ton of movies and shows and stuff. Huh. And then when they first went to the firehouse and Dan Aykroyd saw the pole, he got super, super excited. And so that thing in the movie is what actually happened in real life. So
I believe that. That seemed like a very genuine reaction of his.
Yeah.
This is great.
So maybe we talk about the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Hotel also in LA, the Biltmore.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the ghost in there, we now know as Slimer.
Yes.
Didn't have a name. And didn't have a name until the cartoon series. They never named him Slimer until the cartoon series had come in years later. He was referred to as Onion Head because he was supposed to be a really smelly ghost.
Okay.
And so there's was a scene they ended up not filming where a couple like experienced the odor and stuff. And they also referred to the ghost as the ghost of John Belushi because it was designed off of his character Bluto from Animal House.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah. But yeah, so Slimer not named until much, much later.
Yeah.
1986, so 2 years later.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about. I got a note about the Ectomobile, Ecto One.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of things about it. I mean, originally it was going to be black, and they were like, "Oh, then we won't see it at night, so let's paint it white." But my favorite thing about it is the siren. The meow, meow.
Yeah.
You know what that noise is?
I don't.
That noise is a leopard.
What?
What? Yeah, so once you kind of know and you listen for it, and they processed it through like an analog tape recorder, and then they just changed the speed, and they used like a razor blade, and they did some splicing to it and stuff. So they like futzed it up. But
That is so cool.
yeah, it's a leopard.
I was wondering where they got that sound from because no other like emergency vehicles have that sort of sound.
Yeah. That's pretty great. Mm-hmm. Do you have any notes about Winston by chance?
I don't.
Oh no!
I know.
No, that guy just doesn't get enough love. I think.
Know.
So that character was supposed to show up earlier in the film.
Yeah.
And they originally, like, I think he was supposed to show up like within the first 20 pages of the movie, the first 20 minutes, and it was written for Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy turned it down, so they rewrote the script and cut it down. But when they were discussing it with Ernie Hudson and pitching it to him, it was still the old script. And there's all this stuff where he's like a former construction worker and I think he was a former Air Force veteran. I don't know what he did in the Air Force. I can't remember. Maybe he was an explosions or demolitions expert at some point. And then he agreed to do the movie, and then he showed up, and they gave him a new script, and his part had been like cut way, way down.
Oh man!
So unfortunately, and so he sort of like he's always been really appreciative of the film and what it did for his career, and the fact that he loves the crew and the cast. But he says, he sort of has a love-hate relationship because he sort of expected, one thing and then got something significantly smaller, which was really disappointing for him. But
yeah.
Ernie Hudson's pretty great, and
he's a total badass.
yeah, and they sort of make him more important in the reboots, which I really loved. So.
Oh, good.
Have you not seen the reboots?
No.
Oh yeah, he's like the most successful out of everybody in the reboots. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really
the most successful character.
It's most successful. Yeah, he's sort of everybody else is. Well, you don't know much about Venkman, but Ray's kind of a sad life, and Harold Ramis died in real life.
Yeah.
And so Ernie Hudson's character is like this super successful CEO, and
oh wow.
Yeah, it's great. He's a philanthropist, and
I love that.
yeah, so it's really nice that they gave his character a nice future.
Yeah, so. I love that.
Because when you see them in the second movie, they're like hard up on their luck because the ghost sightings have disappeared, and they're doing like children's birthday parties and stuff. So
oh shoot!
It's nice to see good things happen for Winston, especially knowing kind of the disappointment Ernie Hudson had.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do we have here? Before we get to the party, we see the commercial. Dana sees the commercial on TV. Originally, there was a stop motion Stay Puft commercial too, but they decided to scrap that.
Yeah.
So during the release, the first time they released this as part of a promotional thing, they actually ran the commercial, and they had a phone number that people could call, and they got just so many calls. It was an 800 number. They replaced the 555 with an 800 number. And when people called in, it was Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and they were something like, "Hey, we're out catching ghosts. We're not here right now." Blah blah blah. They got 1,000 calls an hour, 24 hours a day for weeks. Oh, yeah. People were
oh my gosh,
super into it. I mean, I would have been as well.
Wow.
Let's hear some more of your notes, and then maybe I'll.
Well, I kind of want to jump backwards a little because
let's jump back.
Talking about Dana,
yeah,
and how she has just come home from the grocery store
Yeah.
and sets her eggs down. And I don't think she responds. For me,
Yeah.
if I had heard things cracking in my kitchen, I would not just be like,
The eggs
what's
cooking on
that?
the counter. And, yeah.
Yeah. I would have lost my damn mind.
Yeah.
And then she reaches for her refrigerator and she sees this
Portal.
yes, this wild, insane portal that she probably doesn't realize is her roof.
Yeah, no.
Definitely doesn't. It's so intriguing, though, that this portal is from behind her refrigerator.
I think it's just she's being given a glimpse into what's coming.
Right.
I don't know if the portal is actually really there.
Well, the main reason I say that is because when the shit really does hit the fan and her apartment explodes, the steps up to the top are right behind where her refrigerator was.
They were?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I could
I don't think so.
swear.
Is that right? I
Because
don't
you
know.
go into that, you open the kitchen door.
So the reason that it's Dana. Oh, again, really quick. Sigourney Weaver, when she auditioned for this, by the way,
Yes.
Jumped up on the couch and pretended to be a dog, and they were like, "Yes, you have it." So the reason that Dana and Lewis are the ones who change is not coincidence, or it's not just like happenstance.
Okay.
It's because their apartments align with the architecture that Yvonne Shandor created the building specifically to resurrect Gozer on the roof.
Yes.
So maybe the stairs. I don't remember that exactly, but but it's more about her apartment being in a location to be a sacrifice to become Zool, the gatekeeper.
Right.
Which, by the way, we were talking about Lewis. And her apartment. You were talking about the groceries and stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool effect where they used little air compressors to blow the eggs up out of the.
Is that how they?
Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah.
But my favorite gag in the entire film has to do with Lewis.
Okay.
And it's the fact that he keeps getting locked out of his apartment,
Yes.
and he's the key master. It's like, I think such a underrated joke.
That is good.
That I think a lot of people sort of it goes past them.
Yeah.
I just think that's really, really funny that he's the key master and keeps getting locked out.
Oh, that's so clever. I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And he's just so desperate to have friends.
Yeah.
Or
well, not even friends, more clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I know you don't. You do your own taxes, which really isn't a good idea. I could do your taxes for you.
Yeah.
Very, very into connecting with as many clients as he possibly can. Oh gosh. Then Dana gets
Dogified.
what?
Dogified.
Before she becomes a dog.
Yeah.
She becomes Zool.
Yeah.
Or Zool possesses Dana.
Yeah.
When Dr. Venkman comes over for their date, and he's surprisingly oh, now he has morals. Because she's like, I want you inside of me. And he's like, no. There seem to be enough people in there right now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. So that's where you draw the line?
He has a line. He has a line, and it's
He has a line.
demon possession.
Yes. But he still doesn't stop. It doesn't stop him from kissing her décolleté before he leaves. And I'm like, ugh. I just don't like Dr. Venkman. It has nothing to do with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I don't like Dr. Venkman.
Yeah.
I think he's a skis ball.
I think Bill Murray's not a very nice guy too.
Oh no.
I think he's famously difficult to work with. I think he's maybe mean to people too. Yeah. Well, they struggled with getting the reboots off the ground because of Bill Murray.
What?
They would send him scripts and he just would refuse to read them. He's like, I'll do it when I read the script. And then he would take years and years and years to even look at the script. Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah. He's supposed to be really, really difficult to work with.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because he's so talented. Yeah.
Boo.
Do you have any notes about the dogification?
Yeah, well, I did make a note about Lewis being chased by a bear.
Yeah.
And
Somebody else calls it like a leopard, a cougar, I think, or
Yes.
something, right?
and he tries to get into that party in like
Tavern on the Green.
is the Tavern on the Green?
Yeah, in Central Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know New York City
It's
well.
a fancy restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And I just love how they stare, they look at him,
Yeah.
and then when he falls down, they just ignore the whole thing ever happened. I'm like, New Yorkers.
Well, and it's a gag in the Blues Brothers, which is also a Dan Aykroyd thing. So
yes.
yeah.
I see. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a girl with a pink bow having dinner in that restaurant.
Yes.
That is. I want to make sure I don't mix up who it is. I did make a note of it, and I swear I have a note for. Oh, it's Debbie Gibson, pop star. Debbie
Really?
Gibson.
Well, isn't that something?
Yeah. There's a table with some birthday balloons, and then she's
Yeah.
got like a pink ribbon in her hair.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's cute. Okay. While Dana is possessed by Zool, and Dr. Venkman is trying to get that under wraps, he goes, "Don't worry, I gave her 300 cc's of Thorazine."
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that?" Oh, it treats mental health conditions like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
It also has been used as a date rape drug as well.
Well, what the hell?
That wouldn't be the reason why they put it in this movie. I think it was like a little later on that it was used as a date rape drug.
Okay.
It was also used for people who were having bad like LSD trips and stuff. So the idea was to like calm them down from. So this idea that he is giving her this is trying to bring her out of whatever trip she's on.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, Dr. Venkman being a doctor.
Yeah, but he's not a doctor. He's not a.
But I mean, he's
doctor.
using actual science to treat
Fair.
the scenario.
I guess I just wonder, how did he get his hands on such?
Again, people were using it to come off of trips in the 80s. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I have next jumped to, why would a Sumerian god come to New York? And I realize it's because of that guy who built the building, but it's just so random.
Yeah, you should maybe give some thought to watching the reboot,
Okay.
Ghostbusters Afterlife, because it's modern day, but it interestingly covers a lot of background for this film, which is kind of cool. You actually get to see Shandor in that one.
What is Shandor?
Shandor's the guy, the architect.
Thank you.
He's played by J.K. Simmons.
Cool.
In the new one, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't want to run any other things, but there's some other fun surprises. So prior to, are you at the big battle now? Is that where your notes are at?
Roughly, yeah.
So I have the jail. I wanted
Okay.
to point out that the jail that they shot in, an actual prison, and it was supposedly haunted. So fitting for this film.
It's so nice that while they were jailed, they were allowed to bring their maps and stuff with them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. According to Ivan Reitman, the dailies, all of the dailies from the day that they shot at the jail, they all had scratches on the negatives, and there was no reason. They couldn't come up with a reason why the scratches were there. And the crew did not want to go back, and they were able to cobble enough footage together.
Wow.
With what they had shot in the day. So
Dang.
So supposedly haunted prison.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
By the way prisoners have been treated.
Yeah.
Oy, oy, oy. Well, that's wild.
Yep.
Oh, I did write, there's lots of biblical allegory.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That's a biblical thing.
Well, even the newer guy, the guy that comes on.
Oh yeah. They talk and they have the conversation in the car about,
Yeah.
and he talks about Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And how Revelations talks about things like this happening. How do you not know?
Yeah.
How do we know it's not the end of the world?
Yeah. Well, in that line, the dogs and cats is I think supposed to be sort of a Venkman-esque way of referencing the wolves laying down with the lambs, which is a biblical thing. So dogs and cats living together, and mass hysteria because it's the end of the world. So
Yes.
that was also voted by Premiere Magazine as the number 68 greatest line of all time in film.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good line.
It's a good line.
Yeah.
This is true.
He has a lot of good lines in this.
Yes.
I think that's why it sticks in people's minds so well, is that it's just so funny, and there's just line after line after line. Some really great moments.
Yeah.
One of my favorites was earlier in the film. That was your plan, Ray? Get her. I just really love that for some reason.
It also seemed like there was like slight commentary on the EPA being a waste of time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a very 80s thing to think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which just, that part didn't seem to continue on in the world. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
maybe people have more respect for the EPA.
Depending on what party you
True.
support in the United States, which political party.
True.
There's a lot of people who think we should get rid of the EPA altogether, please don't. But poor William Atherton, he had a really tough time after this film because people would like see him on the street, and I think there's a famous story where he was walking down the street in New York and a whole bus full of children started screaming "Hey Dickless" to him. So I think people really like treated him really poorly after this film, and he did 2 Die Hard movies after this where he also played an a-hole.
True.
So I think he had a tough time in his career in the 80s, especially. And actually, Reginald Vell Johnson, who is one of the guard who comes to get them in the prison, it's like the mayor wants to see you.
Right.
He plays Al in the Die Hard movies as well. So him and William Atherton were both in the first 2 Die Hard movies together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad for William Atherton, his character. I'm like, he's just trying to do good.
He is a dick, though.
Yes.
He's doing like he's flippant about things when he should be doing more research and learn more about things instead of just have a power trip.
Yes.
Because he definitely is having a power trip.
That's very true. What else?
You tell me.
Gozer the Gozerian.
Yeah. So Gozer, interesting. I love the name. Gozer is a reference to an actual haunting in England, which we've mentioned in a previous episode when we talked about The Conjuring a couple episodes ago. And there's a sequel to The Conjuring that takes place in England.
Yeah.
And it's based, I believe, on the Enfield haunting, which the name Gozer was written in this house, all over the walls and things in this house in the Enfield.
Wow.
The Enfield poltergeist is what they call it. And yeah, so they get Gozer from a real haunting.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
Looks like David Bowie though in this movie.
Yes. Very much so. So when the last time I saw this movie was at Street Food Cinema with Amber and a couple other people.
Outdoors.
Outdoors, yeah. And we dressed up. So I think I told you that one of us was Sigourney Weaver and one of us was Gozer.
Yeah.
That is not correct. One of us was Zool.
Okay.
And one of us was Gozer. So it's like technically Sigourney Weaver, but it was...
Who was Zool?
Amber was Zool.
And who was... You were Gozer.
I was Gozer.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that outfit with the sort of like skin-tight leotard nylon thing with the bubbles.
Yep.
just randomly decades later was found in like a costume warehouse, and with the exception of like some runs in it, it was like pretty well intact. Yeah, just randomly just disappeared for decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It was the ghost.
It was the ghost. It was Gozer.
One of my favorite parts is the fact that Dan Aykroyd's character imagined the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought Stay Puft was a real brand.
Oh.
And so I thought that was a real thing, a real character.
Yeah.
Turns out just made for this movie.
When I was a kid, I thought that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the tires.
So
the Michelin Man were the same character.
So they based so he wanted something that was like easily identifiable, that you could go, yes, that's a mascot. Yeah, that's something Americana that I can relate to.
Yeah.
And so they used the Pillsbury Doughboy and the Michelin Man as sort of like the inspiration.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So good eye.
Huh.
Good eye.
I was a smart kid.
Yeah. The rooftop, that whole rooftop set was an entire soundstage that they used.
Yeah.
And it required 50,000 amps of electricity to light it. So when they would shoot scenes for the climax, they actually had to shut down production on other things in other sound stages.
Wow.
Or else they were drawing too much power away from them. And just
I believe that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But the whole top of the building explodes. Like, explodes. And we are meant to believe that they survived that?
Yeah, you know.
It was the marshmallow protected them.
It was a maybe it was some type of like energy that, you know, it wasn't like fire or whatever. Maybe it was some type of energy that passes through matter, right?
Okay.
It explodes and does damage to some things, but maybe organic matter doesn't. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but that sounds right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds way better.
Well, like the building itself is not it's rock, right? And it's like steel and and composite of things, but human bodies are just organic matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue why their clothes get blown off, but whatever. But I'm just saying that's gonna be my argument for it.
Yeah.
Bill Murray has a line, a bunch of lines at the end that I love, but one of them is this chick is toast. And in 2002, the Oxford English Dictionary credits Bill Murray's line, this chick is toast, as the origin of toast for the definition of being dead, finished, or in serious trouble.
What?
So
wait, was that the first time that someone had used that?
That's what they're saying. They're saying that's the origin of it. That's saying that's the origin of toast.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they use it again in maybe my favorite line in Die Hard. And when one of the hacker guy is trying to get into the vault, and then the SWAT team's coming up and they blow up the armored vehicle, and he goes, and the quarterback is toast. It's like one of my favorite lines of Die Hard. So
now I feel like I need to watch a bunch of movies and be like, from before.
Yeah. Well, now from now on, whenever you see a movie and they use the word toast like that, you're going to have to look and see what year it came out and see if it came out before or after.
I am.
But I mean, Oxford English Dictionary is pretty good about their research. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was the highest grossing comedy of all time until Home Alone came out. Michael Keaton turned down both the roles of Peter Venkman and Egon Spengler.
Huh.
My understanding is that Spengler is Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I was like, no one else could do Spengler.
Well, I think it's like kind of based on him, and the character, like mannerisms and stuff, are very Harold Ramis. So.
Yeah.
I only have one more note. After Harold Ramis died in 2014, fans paid tribute. They went to the. I know, I'm like, ooh. They went to the firehouse in New York, and they left Nestle Crunch bars, Twinkies, and various how does he refer to it in the movie? collections of spores, molds, and fungi.
Oh my gosh. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it is very sweet.
That is super sweet. And I gotta say, I I loved Dan Aykroyd's character because I do feel like it was just him.
Yeah. Well, and they sort of, the way the writers describe the characters is that Spengler is the brains, Venkman is the mouth, and Stantz, Ray, is the heart of the team. And I think Winston is supposed to be like us. It's supposed to be like the normal person who's like, this is all sort of happening to. So we're sort of seeing it through like a normal person's eyes.
Yeah.
So he's sort of supposed to be like the logic, or like,
Right.
like what the fuck?
Oh my gosh. But who have we not even spoken of?
Janine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts is great.
Oh my gosh. She cracked me up. I mean, I know I didn't laugh out loud much because I'm just like, notes. I have to take notes and pay attention. But when she's like, I don't get paid enough to do this work, and I've been asking for an assistant for 2 weeks, and then the phone rings. She's like, it's Ghostbusters. What do you want? I just loved. She's like, whatever. I'm gonna.
She's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was originally supposed to have and they hint at it a little bit, but she's supposed to have like a little love connection with Spengler in the film.
With Spengler.
Yeah.
Oh.
With Egon.
Oh.
And they hint at it, right? Like she's constantly worried about, like, she shows up at the end of the movie and she's like, "Oh, you're okay," and she, he's under her desk and she's asking all these questions.
Yeah.
So she's trying to talk about how she reads because she's trying to look intellectual.
That's right.
And so they cut that out, and they don't really explore that because in the sequel she hooks up with Lewis.
Yeah.
But in the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, they explore that
Oh.
relationship a little bit. Yeah.
I know I used to watch the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool action figures.
Yeah, totally.
Ghostbusters was interesting. It was like a really interesting phenomenon. There was cereal and, ecto-cooler.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it was like an early, it was like, I want to say this is like one of the first times where toys had slime in them.
Yeah.
And the toys were like really weirdly graphic, like the eyes would pop out of the toys' heads and stuff. Yeah, man, crazy. Yeah. Every kid wanted a proton pack and a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This movie was fun.
Fun. Yeah. So I didn't ask the question. Did you enjoy the movie? I mean, you just said it was fun. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
I did.
Yeah, I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. So you'd recommend it for people?
Yes, and then watch the full franchise.
Sure.
All of
Alexis.
it. All of it.
Now you have to go watch it all. If you're going to recommend it to other people, you have to do it.
Okay. I have seen all of the old ones.
Yeah.
And then I've seen the all-female version.
The Lady Busters.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the Lady Busters, but they don't bust ladies.
No. Which
Kate McKinnon does, you know what I mean?
Apparently I'm one of the odd ones out, but I really enjoyed the
fine.
female.
It was fine. It was not well made. It didn't have the heart that I think these other movies do.
Ah,
And I don't think they paid enough reverence to the old movies either.
that's fair.
I think it was like, I think that I don't know that this is the criticism, but this is where I think the criticism is maybe rooted, excluding a-hole people who just don't like women and things.
Right.
So we're excluding that. They tried so hard to sort of go, we can do this too.
Yes.
That's not really, I don't think, a very good method for a reboot. I think like making it your own, but also like paying respect to what came before. And I don't think they did that enough in the new film. That's my take.
Okay.
But I was fine with it. I own it, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I just need to see all the other ones.
Well, there's only 2 more after that.
Great.
So
I
far.
need to see all 2 of those.
And one is on Netflix now.
I know.
I just rewatched it. I watched it in the theater. I went and saw it in the theater. The new one. And
Frozen Land.
Frozen Empire. Yeah, it's okay. It's doesn't know what kind of movie it wants to be. It's trying so hard to like have one foot in the old camp and one foot in the new camp, and it's not really. Again, just like we can do this too. The new people can do it too, and it's like that's no, just. I'm fine if you want to like go home again, and you want to like link it to those movies, but you still need to do something new. And I felt like it didn't take any risks. There's opportunities to like kill some main characters, and it's like if you had done that, you would have like heightened everything, and it would have felt like there were consequences. And
well, then they need the writers for Game of Thrones. Just kill off those.
I don't know if
those original characters.
Yeah,
maybe not the.
I'm not even talking about an original character. I'm talking about a new character.
Oh.
I think they should have killed off a teenager in this new movie. Spoiler alert: they don't kill off a teenager in the movie. And if you've seen the movie, it's not the character you're thinking. It's not the character you think I'm. What I'm talking about is not who you think it is.
Okay.
We could talk about it after you've seen it, but not.
Okay.
So I like the new one. I really liked Afterlife. So made by Jason Reitman, who's already just a great director on his own, but also has that really strong connection with his father.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of a dead dad movie, as I call them. And it's got a lot of heart. It's really like strongly connected, but also sort of does its own thing. Yeah. I really liked the new one.
Cool.
But not that Frozen Empire, the Afterlife. That new one.
Yes.
Excellent CG effects in that.
Cool.
Yeah. Any last words of note? Okay, so we're not pulling a movie because we're going to do a special for Halloween.
Right.
So our next two films are Halloween and Halloween 2.
What?
And when we say Halloween and Halloween 2, we mean the original 2, not the Rob Zombie mishmash of nonsense. Yeah, so
nice.
We're going back to Jamie Lee.
Oh, it's like we're bringing my girl back.
We're bringing my girl?
We just watched Dan Aykroyd, and now we're going to watch Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to watch Baby. It's going to be so nice.
Yeah, it's going to be heartfelt and not at all violent. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Are you ready? So you've never seen the original Halloween.
I've only seen the fourth one.
And that's why I wanted to do Halloween 2. Okay, so I'm going to... maybe I should save this for the podcast.
Okay.
I'll save it for that podcast. There's a whole thing with Halloween 2.
Okay.
And where it sort of stands in the pantheon, the
okay.
What do they call it? The canon of Halloween. So we'll discuss that in the episode. But so Halloween 2. Thanks for getting spooky with us, but not too spooky with this episode. We will see you next time on Cinema.